Here are 10 things that absolutely everyone needs to declutter, no excuses. And I am one who loves her stuff. I've talked about in many videos, I am not a minimalist, but these 10 things, there is absolutely nobody who needs any one of these items in their home. And yes, I realize that there are probably some that will probably strike a chord with someone, but these are hard truths that you need to hear today. The very first thing that absolutely everyone needs to declutter is the someday project. Now, I know I'm not the only one that has those unfinished crafts, those hobbies, those random projects that you started on an afternoon one day when you were feeling really good and ambitious, but it's been 6 months. The amount of courses that I have purchased that I thought I was going to get through because I'm going to be such a great person by the time I end this course, and I haven't got through any of them. I have workbooks, I have highlighters and pens and beautiful stickers sitting out everywhere just ready for me. But realistically, because I know what's to come in the next few weeks and months, I'm not going to have time for that. So I can realistically put this in a box where I can reevaluate it in a couple of months, or I can do the right thing and donate those items to someone who's going to use them in their present season. Okay, the second thing that absolutely everyone needs to declutter is old identity clutter. Now, what do I mean by identity clutter? That is clutter from a former version of you that no longer exists. So maybe you went to school to be a nurse and you have nursing textbooks that are just laying around all over your home. Maybe you have business cards from a job or a business you left, or ID tags from being a student somewhere. If you left a corporate job to be a stay-at-home mom, you no longer need all of those pantsuits, right? Anything that is laying around that is just taking up room from a former version of who you used to be and are no longer curling this present season of life or in the next 6 months, that is old identity clutter that does not correspond to who you are today, and you need to get rid of it. The third one is invisible furniture. What do you mean by invisible furniture? Obviously, you can't get rid of something invisible. What I mean by that is furniture that you have that just sits there maybe for one purpose or no purpose at all. So maybe it's a side table that absolutely nobody uses and it just sits there collecting dust. Or the chair in your bedroom that is only holding laundry and nobody actually ever sits in it. Or maybe it's just a toe stubber waiting for its next victim. Or maybe it's a lamp over there that you've been meaning to get rid of because you have the lamp right there, but you just can't seem to part with it because, I mean, it's a vintage lamp. I love it, but do I need 2 opposing lamps in my living room? No, absolutely I don't. I need to get rid of that lamp because that, in fact, is invisible furniture. It may be invisible in the fact that it's not usable, but as clutter, it's very visually noticeable clutter. Okay, this next one, I think I'm gonna get a little bit of pushback, but this is toxic group chats or people that you follow on social media, whether you like them or not. If the way they make you feel after you consume their content or you experience a conversation with them, if you do not feel good about yourself, your family, your home, I'm not talking about areas of improvement that you want to strive towards, but I'm talking like you feel like you never have enough, you're never good enough, your life is never good enough, you're not measuring up. If you feel down, or if it's a chat that is gossiping, that is toxic, that is always spewing negativity, whether it's towards your husband, your family, your children, your circumstances, anything around you, if it's making you feel worse after that interaction, cut off that chat, cut off that group, unfollow those influencers, friends, whoever it may be. Do a mental declutter of that. If it is draining you of energy, if it's an energy vampire, or it's creating a feeling of FOMO in your home or your life, you need to cut it off. Sometimes we wonder where our anxiety comes from and we don't know where to pinpoint it to, but the amount of things that we are consuming into our brains, whether it's from conversations, the things that we are consuming on social media, it is such a subconscious thread of toxicity all day long. And so then when we start to manifest our anxiety, we wonder where it came from when all along there was a trickle of toxicity being spewed into our subconscious. You need to clean up your digital space just like you would clean up your physical space. All right, number 5, I'm so guilty of this. It's been like 13 years and I'm still guilty of this, but this is goal clothing. This is the clothing that I will one day fit back into, my favorite pair of jeans that I only need to lose 25 pounds for to get back into, or that favorite dress that I absolutely love. I got it at a great deal. I will someday fit into it. Stop it. This is me talking to myself. Stop it. You're going to grab a trash bag right after you record this video, and those 12 pairs of dresses and 5 pairs of pants you've been saving for yourself, you're gonna go donate them, okay? Keeping goal clothing is what I like to call keeping self-punishment on a velvet hanger. Every time you see it, you're going to remember that you are not good enough. You didn't reach your goal. You haven't gotten where you need to be, where you want to be. And every time you look at it, you're going to remind yourself of how far you are from where you want to be. And that subconsciously is actually going to take you even further from your goal versus having clothing in your closet that fits you well, you're confident in, you're looking good, you're choosing to wear because you love how you look in it. I feel like that's what's actually going to motivate you in order to lose the weight, to feel better. And even if you don't have that guilt because you feel comfortable in your current body right now. All right, number 6 is subscriptions that you forgot about. For the longest time, I had no idea that I can actually go into the settings of my phone and view all the subscriptions that I have signed up for just with my Apple ID alone. And when I learned that and I went into my subscription area, I saw that I was subscribed to so many things that I don't use. And a lot of that is because I chose to do like a 7-day trial of an app or service. And then I ended up not liking it, but I completely forgot to cancel it. So lo and behold, I've been paying like a $24.99 per month fee for this, $6 for this, $9 for this. And on your bill, all it says is Apple subscription. I never knew what it was. So when I saw all of these things that I had no idea that I was subscribed to, it was so refreshing to save like an extra $45 a month for essentially nothing. Now you can also do this with any kind of gym memberships. If you're not going to the gym, either start going or use home equipment or home videos, any other kind of subscriptions, whether it's movies, Audible, like whatever. There's so many, I feel like there's so many subscriptions nowadays that it's kind of hard to keep track of. What you can do is just go through your bank statements and highlight all the subscriptions that pop up and then investigate what those subscriptions are. Cancel the ones that you don't use. Not only is this going to save you money, again, this is going to get rid of all of that guilt of feeling like, oh, I am not doing enough because I'm paying for this subscription, but I'm not using it. All right, the 7th thing that absolutely everybody needs to declutter today are books you feel guilty about not reading. If you have a library collection, you collect books and you love that, that's one thing. But I'm talking about books that have been sitting in your office, in your bedroom, wherever they may be, and maybe you had every intention of reading this book and having it impact your life, but now every time you see those books and you have this overwhelming sense of guilt of like, I didn't read this book, but I have to keep it around because I bought it for a reason. Listen, unless you're going to create a plan of reading a specific amount of minutes or pages per day, unless you're going to come up with a plan and strategy every single day, those books sitting on your nightstands, your bookshelves, wherever it may be, they're not going to magically read themselves. They're just going to start collecting dust and visual clutter. I love self-help and self-improvement books. So in my mind, when I get a book, I feel that once I read this book, I will become the product of whatever this book is talking about, right? That end goal, that productivity, that productive person, or whatever that book is trying to accomplish in my life, that encouragement. Once I read that book, I will then exhibit those things in my life. That's just how my brain tends to think. And so every time I see that book, I had every intention of reading that book, but whether it was the busyness of life, or maybe I just didn't feel like it, or maybe I wasn't into the book, I have this guilt of the books that I have not read. However, going forward, can I suggest using the library to check out these books? I have been so guilty of just going onto Amazon and buying whatever book it is that all of a sudden I feel inspired to read, only come to find out that I already have 10 other books waiting in line for me. So the thing that I've started to do is actually to utilize my library and to go and check out the book. And that way there's also a little bit of pressure to finish this book in time because it needs to get checked back in. So it also creates a little bit of pressure, momentum, and accountability for me to finish that book on time. Or if I don't, I just go ahead and return it, knowing that I can go back and get it again when I am ready to read it, and I'm not cluttering up my home. Okay, number 8 is the skincare graveyard. I think so many of us women, because of social media and because of what we see, we buy so much skincare, so much that there's no possible way you can layer 20 different things on your face every night. At least you shouldn't. but we think we can. And so we buy all these products, we spend the money, and then at the end of the day, we end up using 3, 4 products. Some things maybe we don't like, some things we just don't use, and we end up having a skincare graveyard. I for sure have been guilty of this, and because I spent money on it, I look at it and I'm like, I'm not gonna throw that out. I'll start using it sometime at some point. And the thing with skincare is a lot of times you're not gonna gift it to somebody else because it is kind of like a hygiene product. You're not really going to donate it. So the only thing left to do with it is to either keep it or to throw it out. And a lot of the time we don't wanna throw it out because again, we feel bad, we spent money on it, right? We don't wanna waste all of our money and resources. We'll find a place for it. So today what you're going to do is you're going to go there and you are going to go into that skincare graveyard. You're going to say goodbye to all the products that you don't reach for, you don't use, and you're going to throw them out. You are no longer going to be keeping them in the cemetery of your bathroom, but you're going to put them in a plastic bag and into the trash you go. And this is going to be a valuable lesson for all of us because we are going to be so picky and so careful when we are influenced by things that we see online because we're going to be making wiser decisions. All right, the 9th thing that we all need to declutter is, I've talked about this in one of my last videos, but it's called my figure it out box. And essentially it's a box where I just shove things until I figure out what to do with them. Sometimes it's cords, wires, chargers, sometimes it's pictures, memorabilia, books, just random stuff that I find around my house. And I'm like, I'll figure this out later. And I shove it into one box. And then I never take the time to look through that box. When I'm in that figure it out box, that means I have to go and look at every item individually, take the time to make decision after decision after decision where it's all going to go. What you're doing is you're just creating more clutter and more delayed decisions for you to make at another time. Some of you have a cupboard, some of you have a figured out drawer, some of you have a figured out closet, some of you live in a figured out house. So you are going to take whatever container, vessel of figure it out that you have, and you are going to create a game plan. If it's to find 10 things in that figure it out box a home, let's do that, right? So if it's a massive project, find 5 to 10 things that you are going to either toss or find the correct home for, and then do that every single day until that figured out container box home is neatly organized and everything has a proper home to it. The 10th thing that you need to declutter today are all of those little travel size accessories, shampoos, conditioners, body washes, toothpaste, all of those things. Either make a plan to consolidate them into a larger container that you use every day so you're not wasting all the product, or if they're like half empty, mostly used, and you're not traveling with the next couple of weeks and you're not planning to bring those along with you, just throw them out. I know it's hard to throw away things that seem usable, especially if there's like a quarter bit of shampoo or body wash or like a bar of soap that you've only used twice, possibly stole from the hotel. Well, we won't go into that, but it's things that you're not using on the regular in your home, but they're again sitting on your shelves, in your cupboards. They're taking up space. They're expiring slowly. You don't plan on using them. Just get rid of them. A lot of the times, these hard decisions you just have to make on the spot. Don't take too much time examining them, thinking about it. Where did I get it? When did I use it? What can I use this for? Just make the decision to get rid of it today because you will be so happy you did. And another bonus thing that I want to mention to declutter today are duplicate utensils and kitchen tools. You don't need 3 spatulas. You don't need 3 colanders. You only need 1 massive pot. Go through your things and see what duplicate can you get rid of. When you have less of those items, you're also going to be more careful taking care of that item, because in my mind, when I had multiples of something, I didn't care if something went missing. I didn't care if I didn't put something in the right place, because I was like, if it goes missing, I have 2 to 3 to back it up. No. We're not doing any of that. We're keeping 1 good tool, utensil, whatever it is, and we're taking care of that item. I feel like for me, it's such a mental game knowing that I have this 1 peeler and I'm going to put it back in its correct place the first time, because if I lose this, I don't have a backup. And for me, that's just something that works. Let me know if there's something that you have found useful to declutter in your home that has made a huge difference. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for getting me to 100K. I am very grateful for every single one of you guys in this community. As always, thank you. I will see you guys in my next one.